What's going on, everybody? It's just another day in the kitchen, back with another episode, and today we're talking about Harlem's fashion killer, aka Asaprocky. In this video, we're going to be looking at the merch for his last album release, which was Testing back in 2018. I can't believe it's been 5 years. And before I go any further, I just wanted to shout out all of you guys who recommend what you'd like to see next. I love reading all the comments and interacting, as you guys know, so while you're here, you might as well go ahead and drop a like and subscribe, and I really appreciate you guys for checking this out. Now, my history with Asaprocky, aka Lord Pretty Flacco Jody II, if you know, you know, takes us back all the way to 2011. He debuted his first mixtape, Live Love ASAP, and I even had the poster up in my dorm room when I was up in college. Now, Rocky has definitely evolved and come a long way both stylistically as well as musically since this era. I remember him wearing the HBA and Ben Trill fits just like this, and just by being a fan of Rocky, it exposed my knowledge to fashion a hell of a lot more. I started learning a lot more about high fashion brands as Rocky was mentioning them in songs and wearing them, and I had no idea that Virgil Abloh was involved. And I definitely say with confidence that these young dudes in the ASAP mob definitely made their stamp on history and influenced the culture. Now, Rocky unexpectedly lost his best friend and the leader of the ASAP mob, ASAP Yams, unexpectedly in 2015. And he really could have gone in any direction because Yams was responsible for curating his sound, his look, and his fashion sense. I'd say by staying true to himself and staying creative and experimental, he's been able to cement himself and stay relevant since he's been on the scene. He even influenced Cardi here and took him under his wing. I had to of course mention how people have claimed for years that Travis Scott bit his sound and look from Rocky, and apparently the two are still beefing as of Rolling Loud Miami 2023. Now, when Rocky was doing promo for the upcoming album Testing in 2018, he did this really interesting live stream where he was trapped in a glass box for an hour and a half as people went ahead and stared and took pictures. Throughout the live stream, he was previewing music from the new album, and I wish I could share it, but of course you could listen to it because it released over 5 years ago. And at the time, I was thinking about how it was so creative in a different art direction as a way to do a listening party. As we all know, listening parties can be crucial when it comes to gauging a crowd's reaction, and the whole premise and theme of this, I think, was about being like a lab rat and then being tested on, for trials and things, but that's just my best guess here. Now, what he's wearing in attire would also give us an idea of some of the themes coming up when it comes to this album merch, and we'll see that later throughout the video. Now, he did also answer questions from a narrator or interrogator of sorts, and honestly, I'll go ahead and link the rest of this video in the description so you guys can see it. It was definitely very creative for the time, and not surprising. Now, since the passing of Yams as his kind of creative director for things, Rocky put together OG, which I'm still not sure how to pronounce. They've been leading his creative direction over the last few years and honestly killing it, from everything from music videos to merch designs, and we'll go ahead and see here in just a moment. And in support of the album Testing, Rocky announced the Injured Generation Tour. Now, this is some of the merch that was featured, and I wanted to go ahead and show you just how creative it actually looks with his actual website, just how it was curated. Now, I think it's always important for artists to be seen wearing their tour merch, and Rocky was no exception here. As you can see, here he is wearing some of his tour merch as he was performing at the tour dates, and who doesn't want to see their favorite artist or the artist that they're trying to support wear it? As you'll see throughout the rest of this video, I just wanted you guys to see what the actual website looked like back in 2018. Rocky's been super big on his visuals and design, and this is an example of some of the merch that we'll end up seeing associated with Testing. Now, this is an extra good picture because you can see a fan wearing a crazy mask right here that was available on this tour that we'll see a little bit later in this video, along with Rocky wearing some more of this awesome Testing merch. Personally, I wasn't able to catch him on this tour, and I wasn't able to get any pieces from this merch drop. I did find pieces for sale online on websites like Grailed, with most prices on legit pieces anywhere from $200 to $300. Now, here's that mask I pointed out earlier, and even Rocky spotted wearing it during his tour. Personally, it reminds me of some Slipknot mask type stuff, and let me know in the comments if you agree. Now, like I said, I just wanted to show you guys the overall aesthetic of the website before you actually hop into the merch store, and let's go ahead and get started. Now, for the first piece of this Testing merch, they had a hat available for $20, which is such a steal and a bargain, especially given how prices are now. I did find this picture of an example of one online, and personally, it doesn't look the best quality with the shape of it, but who can beat a hat for $20, and I do like how it says Testing on the side here with the flames. Now, next up, we have a really interesting shirt that was available for $40 back in 2018, And as you can see from the graphic, it's got a nice message. I don't know if I would recommend to wear it to work or school, but it's definitely interesting, and I think anybody who knows what it is would definitely get a good laugh out of it. Again, this was available for $40, and let's go ahead and take a look at what's next. Now next, Rocky had these sweatpants or athletic pants that were available for $100, and personally, I think they're kind of interesting, but I don't know if I would be able to rock them in public. For a novelty item, there was this figurine that was available for $80, which features a crash test dummy, which was one of the main themes when it comes to this testing album. Now, personally, I do prefer the Travis Scott action figurine, which released along with the release of the album Rodeo, and let me know in the comments which one is better. And this one was available for a retail price of $150. Today it goes for almost $1,000, so I think it was a good bargain for the time. I wasn't able to verify what type of merch items these actually were, if these are like a blown up beach ball or an actual basketball sized ball or something like that. And so if you actually purchased these, let me know in the comments. But as you can see, they were available for $10. Now, in doing more research, I was playing around on the website and I found out that they ended up doing a whole separate merch drop, so we'll go ahead and cover that here in a second. I just want to include some of the pictures from this actual update on the website so you guys can see the overall direction and influence when it comes to the testing merch. As you can see, a lot of the central themes have to do with crash test dummies, the black and yellow tape that you guys have seen here. I also wanted to point out how asaprocky is often seen wearing Vans during this time. It was only just a few years ago that he finally got his own Vans collab, and it's honestly not so bad, so I think it's cool that throughout the years you'll see him consistently wearing them, even from his earliest days of fame. Shout out to Vans. One thing I wanted to mention is from the moment you connect to the website, the song Guns and Butter automatically starts playing in the background. It's basically an instrumental version of it, but honestly it creates a nice vibe as you take a look through it. And again, this is all curated by Rocky's art collective, OG, as you guys can see advertised at the bottom of the screen at all times. Now starting off with the next wave of testing merch, they uploaded this long sleeve with a retail price of $95. One thing I wanted to note about this actual merch drop is I think it's super creative how they had these avatars, which basically resemble some Nintendo 64 or PS2 graphics of the actual merch pieces, and I definitely think it's really creative and in line with Rocky. And I do want to point out that there was another wave or two of this testing merch that was available online, and we'll take a look at some more exclusive pieces here in just a moment, but this is what I was able to find all the way back in 2018. Now, one thing I did want to point out is that the retail prices for a lot of these pieces are kind of steep when you think about it. I think $95 for the long sleeve is kind of expensive, especially given 5 years ago. And that's not so much to hate on Rocky because he might not even be the one pricing his own merch out, but I do hope that the quality justified the price, especially given 5 years ago. Now, one thing you'll see again throughout this entire testing drop is the fact that there's a lot of kind of cozy related merch, and it makes sense given that Rocky is definitely the king of staying cozy, and he's associated with the Cozy Boys. Now, when it comes to this infamous testing merch mask, I did find a screenshot from the drop, and it is now available online from anywhere from $50 to $100. Personally, I think it's a dope collector's piece, and it resembles those crash test dummies, which are central to the theme of testing. I did want to show you guys some more exclusive merch from the drop because I think these are definitely stronger pieces and you can see the influence and themes throughout it. From what I read online, prices stayed consistent when it comes to the actual merch that was available at the shows for this tour. I also love when artists make effort into putting exclusive designs when it comes to certain shows or concerts. So let's take a look at some of these exclusive pieces from the testing merch shows. First off, we've got this dope little piece that came from Australia, and as you can see, it's got the theme of the kangaroo. Of course, these pieces were only available at the Australia shows. On the back, it features the phrase down under, which is of course common to Australia, the land down under. Next up, we're also taking a look at some exclusive concert merch, which is only available at the EU shows. I think that this is great because I know it's already hard enough for international fans when it comes to shipping, as well as sometimes having to pay these crazy custom fees you guys are letting me know in the comments. Now, of course, Rocky did have some yellow themed merch, which was very central to this actual merch drop, and personally, I think that this is a simple piece, but it went pretty hard. In a very random collaboration just last year, asaprocky collaborated with Nigo, the creator of Bape, and now creator of Human Made. The two teamed up to create a capsule that featured 5 different pieces, as you guys can see here, and it also had the influence of Nigo's art style, as well as the themes of the crash test dummy that we've seen throughout this album. And when I look back at this album rollout from 5 years ago along with the merch, I can definitely see the vision that Rocky had for it. I think it's aged well, and I still can't believe it's been over 5 years since his last release. I know the man's been busy taking care of his family with Rihanna, so shout out to him, and I think he even just had another kid. And I still think it's dope that an artist as big as him is willing to experiment and put out different sounds. If you made it this far, let me know what you think about this video and who you'd like to see me cover next. I appreciate you guys watching as always. Thank you for cooking with the kitchen. Stay safe out there, guys. And it's lit. Straight up. Peace.